Every town has a story they don't tell outsiders. Something dark. Something that never made it to the news, but everyone who lives there remembers. For the people of Cold Creek, Pennsylvania. That story begins with a small farmhouse at the end of Blackwood Lane. Locals call it one thing, the Devil's House. In 1994, George and Linda Turner moved into that house with their 2 children, 8-year-old Eli and his sister, Sarah. It wasn't much, but for George it was a fresh start. He'd lost his job at a steel plant months earlier. The house was cheap. Remote, he said it would be good for the kids. Neighbors described them as polite but private. Linda was kind, but she always seemed tense. Some even said she flinched whenever George raised his voice. Then winter came, and that's when the odd things began. People in town started hearing screams from the woods behind the Turner house. At first, George said it was coyotes. But one night, a neighbor saw him digging, under the moonlight, long after midnight. March 17, 1995. Linda went to check on Eli before bed. His lamp was still on. His storybook open. But the window was open too, and the bed was empty. Police found no forced entry, no footprints, nothing. Even the family dog refused to enter the boys' room afterward. Linda told police she'd been hearing whispers from the basement the night before. She said it sounded like Eli's voice calling her name, but when she opened the basement door there was only silence. George, meanwhile, sat at the kitchen table motionless, staring at a candle. When an officer asked if he was okay, George whispered, "You don't understand, he wanted the boy. He lives here now." A search team combed through the woods for days. No trace of Eli. Then 2 volunteers made a discovery. 3 small wooden crosses buried beneath the soil, each carved with initials. .1 read E.T. Eli Turner. The other 2? MC and HL, matching 2 other missing children from nearby counties. For the first time, Cold Creek realized this wasn't just a disappearance. It was something much darker. Police obtained a search warrant for the Turner home. In the basement they found journals, hundreds of pages, each filled with one chilling line written over and over. "The devil lives here." George Turner was arrested for questioning. At first he refused to speak. Then something in him snapped. He began whispering, then laughing, and finally screaming. "He told me what to do. He said it would make the voices stop." Investigators described his behavior as split, like he was arguing with someone only he could hear. But what terrified them most wasn't his words, it was his eyes. One detective said they looked completely black. Psychiatrists diagnosed George with acute psychosis. He was sent to a state hospital for evaluation. But before he left, he turned to an officer and said, "Don't stay in that house after dark. He likes it when you stay." After George's arrest, Linda stayed in the house alone with their daughter, Sarah. Neighbors said she barely slept. One night she called 911. She told the dispatcher that the walls were breathing. When officers arrived, they found her in the living room rocking back and forth. She kept repeating one phrase. "He's still here. He never left." They took her to stay with her sister, but 2 days later she disappeared. Her car was found abandoned on an old logging road near the property. In the trunk, police discovered her diary. The last entry read, "He took Eli because I wouldn't. Now he wants me." 2 weeks later, hikers stumbled upon a shallow grave near Blackwood Lane. Inside were human remains later identified as Linda Turner. She had been dead for several days. When investigators went to inform George, they found him in his cell, dead. No signs of struggle. No cause of death. His body was found kneeling in the corner, hands clasped like he was praying, and written on the wall in what appeared to be blood were 3 words. "He lives here." The Turner house still stands on Blackwood Lane. No one's lived there since. Every attempt to sell it has failed. In 2003, a restoration crew lasted just 3 weeks before leaving the job. They claimed they heard a child laughing in the hallways at night. Locals say if you drive past the house after midnight, you'll see a candle flickering in the upstairs window, and a small figure standing behind the glass. Evil doesn't always wear horns. Sometimes, it looks like a family. Sometimes, it looks like home. And in Cold Creek, Pennsylvania, the devil never left.